Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kylie. I'm a hand embroidery artist and Etsy seller, and I have been at this for the past 4 years, but it wasn't until the past 2 that I've begun to take things a bit more seriously by actually adding items to my shop. Though I'm not gonna lie, this year of 2023, I've started a new 9-to-5 job, my first 9-to-5 job, and I also moved into a new place with my husband, so we've been a bit busy and I haven't had as much time on my hands, so I honestly have not really worked on my shop. I've added like 4 listings, but even amidst that, it has been so encouraging to see that over the past 18 months, I have been bringing in a fairly consistent 300 Canadian dollars a month. So in this video, I want to share with you exactly how much money I've been making these past 18 months, where exactly that money is coming from, and also how I plan to scale that. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, I do want to mention first that during my Etsy shop's existence, I have moved from the United States to Canada, and my shop, like my money still goes to my US bank account, so I just convert it to CAD for the sake of like my own income, and so that's what you're gonna see it in USD, but also translate it to CAD, as that's the money I use right now. So we'll start with 2022, and in January I made $645, February was $227, March $217, April $307, May was potato, $78, June I had $129, July $293, August we spiked up a bit at $660, September was $250, October was $287, November $619, and December was $403. So if we add all that up, I made for the year $4,120, and then if we divide that by 12, we have a monthly average of $343. Now, I know from this income breakdown, it does kind of fluctuate a bit, and I will say those $600 spikes months, I did sell some custom home portraits, which I sell for $300 each because they take like 20 hours and it's a huge project, so that's kind of why you see some of those spikes, but other than that, like I've been making on average like $343, which I think is pretty crazy, and that came from simply adding 45 listings in my shop. And I do want to note, with this income, this is not my revenue. This is the money that Etsy is depositing into my bank account on a weekly basis. Now, moving on to 2023, so that's this year. Mind you, I only added 4 listings to my shop, and I have not sold any of those home portraits that boost my income by $300. So I think this is pretty impressive. So let's jump into it. So 2023, in January, I made $306, February was $437, March was $280, April $298, and then May, recently, I had $259. So that brings us to a total for the year so far, just these first 5 months, without really doing anything to my shop, I've made $1,581, and if we divide that by 12, I'm bringing in, on average, $316 a month, which I think that's pretty impressive because I really haven't been working on my Etsy shop, and this year I've actually kind of decided like I don't have the time to deal with physical products, so I'm just trying to deal with digital products, and I've gotten like that from digital products, and I think that is like crazy cool, and I only have 45 listings in my shop. So that's kind of my income and how much money I've been making, but now let's see and look at where this money is actually coming from. Before I added all these listings to my shop, I did like binge listen to some podcasts, watch a bunch of YouTube videos on Etsy, and learned a lot through that. But one thing that I heard from a couple different places was this statistic that about 1 in 7 of your Etsy listings is going to be a bestseller. And I would find that pretty much true for my shop, though I actually think I'm a little bit below average. And so in my shop, I would say that I have about 5 bestsellers. And so for these bestsellers, I had one pattern that has sold 122 times, another pattern that sold 100 times, another pattern that has sold 43 times, another pattern that sold 37 times, and then one final pattern has sold 25 times. The rest of the items in my shop have sold 13 times or less, so there is a bit of a jump between them and also a jump in between and amidst them. And with that, I've actually recently, this week, I hit 500 sales, and if we add up all of these bestsellers, they total 327 sales. So 327 sales out of my 500 sales are from these 5 products. And when you think about that, I think that's like pretty crazy cool. Like most of my income is only coming from 5 single patterns, which is like crazy to think about because I put in like the work once for them and now they're kind of making me this passive income because I worked hard at the beginning and now they can just sell on repeat. But now I know on the other side of that, it is kind of sad because it's like, what about the other 40 patterns in my shop? Like, why aren't they selling as well? And I think that's a video for another day and another way that I can try and improve my shop by changing photos or SEO, other things like that. But for now, I'm just like really grateful that my Etsy shop has some bestsellers that are bringing me in $300 a month. Like, most of my money is coming from those 5 bestsellers, which I think is really cool and like really encouraging that like people like my stuff and want my stuff, and it's like I made and I designed that, so it's just cool. And I also just wanted to mention, with this money that I've been earning and where it's been coming from, not only is it coming from these top 5 bestsellers, but I know some people can think like, okay, well, what about your external influence and your marketing? Like, yes, I have this YouTube channel I'm starting, I have a Pinterest account, and I have an Instagram account. Now on Instagram, I have around 5,000 followers, and let me just tell you, if you think I get sales from there, I pretty much don't. And I always question like, why am I on this platform? I'm not making money from here. But whatever, that's also another video for another day. I did have one pin on Pinterest go viral like last year, which helped boost one of these pattern sales. But other than that, even from my statistics in Etsy, 70% of my sales come from Etsy itself, which is like crazy good and crazy high because I'm not bringing that traffic. Etsy's bringing the majority of my traffic and giving me the most of my sales. So I hope you're encouraged if you don't have like platforms or social media elsewhere. Etsy is still a really great way by itself to get you sales and to get you traffic because they are a search engine in and of themselves. So don't worry if you don't have social media. And so now I'm faced with this idea or this dilemma of like, how can I increase this? How can I make my Etsy shop better? How can I make more money? How can I scale this? And I think the answer to that is like, I only have 45 listings in my shop. Whenever I was listening to these Etsy podcasts, they were like, don't start your shop until you have 10 listings, or don't start your shop until you have 20 listings. And it's like, I started my shop with 1 listing and I'm currently at 45 listings. Like, that's honestly not that much. Like, if you want to make more, you gotta like put more in your shop and fill it. And that's, I think, the stage where I'm at. And I think it's so fun to think about like, okay, right now I have 45 listings in my shop. Those 45 listings are bringing me in $300. So what if I doubled my listings? What if I created 90 listings? I should theoretically be making $600. But even more than that, like, I don't think it would take me 45 more listings to make $600 because I already have some data and statistics I can look at. Like, I have those 5 bestseller patterns in my shop. So what will it take to create some more patterns that will be like these bestsellers, that are different but similar enough to sell just as well? And so I can look at that data and try to make some more bestsellers and achieve that $600 income quicker than just adding 45 random patterns to my shop, which I think is like crazy cool and exciting to think about the potential that one shop has. Because like, if I can make this $300 from 45 listings, I can certainly add more listings to my shop and make $600. And once I get to that 600 point, it's like, okay, if I can do that, I can definitely double down on that and make more listings and bring my income up to $1,200 a month. And I know right now I'm at $300, which like doesn't sound like a lot, but like it is like helpful income. That's enough to pay off my husband's student loan bill, or that's enough to like add to savings, or that could be enough to like add as a monthly fund for like a cool vacation. So like, I know it's not a lot, but it is helpful. And then also just the potential to scale that in the future is a really exciting thought to think about. And lastly, with this fun idea of like, how can I double down on my Etsy shop? How can I increase my listings? How can I double my income? It's one thing to think about like the crazy cool potential, but it's a whole nother thing to take action and actually do it, because it does take hard work and it does take time to make these patterns or whatever products you have in your shop. So I would encourage you, like, don't just watch and be encouraged, but take action and start doing, because that's when you're actually going to see results, and that's when you're actually going to see income start to come in. So I'm wishing you the best on your journey, the most success. Thanks so much for joining me, friends. If you did enjoy this video or found it of value, would you hit that like button below and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this? And if you want a bigger recap of my Etsy shop thus far over the past 4 years, you can check out this video here, and I also have a playlist of other business related videos you can check out. Until next time, my friends, happy stitching and happy business planning. Have a good week.